What's going on, guys? It's Alex at Tech. How are you doing? We are reviewing the Xiaomi Mi 9T. This is a pretty big budget device. Actually, this might be one of the best budget devices of all time. There's a lot of great qualities about this phone that we're going to talk about. Xiaomi just continues to throw out devices that set the bar higher and higher for lower and lower price points. So let's review the Xiaomi Mi 9T or the K20 in certain regions. First thing we're going to look at is the processor. It's a Snapdragon 730, 6 gigabytes of RAM, and 64 gigabytes of storage. Specs like that, you expect this phone to be like in the $400 or $500 range. This is actually really good. We get a 730. It's not a 710. It's not a 630. You're getting a 730, which is, if you're not getting that flagship 855 processor, this is the next best thing, and it really performs well. Performance here goes smoothly through Android 9.0, which is the current version of Android. Of course, you're on top of the whole MIUI skin, but MIUI has improved a lot since its early inception, and it's relatively usable. Of course, with these lower budget phones, you can always throw on a launcher of sorts. I'm using a launcher right now. It was only a couple years ago where this in-screen fingerprint scanner tech was conceptual and only in the experimental $1,000 phone range. Well, we're seeing a lot of it being offered in this whole mid-range class now, like the Moto Z4 has it, and this phone also has it. I do like how there is a display indicator about where you need to put your fingerprint, even on a dark screen, and you simply just touch it and it shows up, whereas some other phones with this tech, you have to do the flip to wake for it to show up. So that's an extra second wasted. We have to search for it. Also, I have noticed on everyday use, when I pull out the phone, sometimes it's upside down. And because this phone is so unified in terms of just a slab of screen, you don't know which side is up and which side is down until that fingerprint illuminates. And sometimes when you're in the sunlight, you can't really see it. So it does take a little longer for me to unlock the phone than if I just had a pre-designated area with a fingerprint scanner slot, like we're accustomed to. I also have to say that this phone's fingerprint scanner is slow. It's slower than the previous generation phones with a dedicated fingerprint slot. And part of that is this is new tech, and it's also in the budget range. But the budget range prior with a dedicated slot has unlocked quicker in previous generations of phones. Another cool flagship segment that pushed down to this mid-range is a motorized pop-up camera. This is a 20 megapixel f2.2 selfie camera that comes up every single time you click on that selfie mode. And just like the in-display fingerprint scanner, it was just a couple years ago, having a motorized camera on your mobile phone was only reserved for those high-end $1,000 type concept phones. Some of these photos that I'm showing you right now are a little overprocessed, and the photo quality can be a little blurry at times in terms of the selfie camera, but it is a perfectly acceptable camera for this price point. And what is this price point, you may be asking me? Well, the price point is a cool $300. I bought this phone for $300, but right now on Amazon at the time of this video, or recording of this video, it's actually under $300 on Amazon. I think they sell that at Walmart as well. And I want to also note this phone is sold you can get it really accessible in the US. You can buy it on Walmart. You can once again buy it on Amazon. The link is provided below. By now, a lot of tech enthusiasts should know what Xiaomi is and what they make. And so a lot of the previous Xiaomi devices, especially in their flagship Mi line, their bands don't match up with American carriers. So even if you buy an unlocked device, you might not get full 4G LTE compatibility with global SIM networks like T-Mobile or AT&T. I am on T-Mobile. I've used countless of Xiaomi devices on T-Mobile. Most of them are the mixes, right? So the Mi mixes traditionally have all the LTE bands you need to have a very functioning regular device in the US on T-Mobile and AT&T. The Mi line, on the other hand, has traditionally not had the bands that you needed in the US. Even the global one doesn't have certain bands that you need on T-Mobile. This phone and some of the other Redmi phones out there have started, shifting a little bit. We reviewed a couple other Xiaomi devices these last couple of years where they had partial bands that we need in the US, and I have used them here in California. Nowadays, you can go on Amazon, type in Xiaomi, you get a bunch of listings for a bunch of phones, and they have the LTE bands. This one works on T-Mobile, and LTE has bands 2 and 4, but it is missing 12, which is one of the 3 major bands that T-Mobile uses. It's missing band 12, but I have noticed that I am struggling a little bit more with this phone. Bands 2 and 4, it exists, but through everyday use, I have seen the phone drop in and out of phone calls. My LTE is spotty in certain locations in the city that I usually don't have any problem with, even with those other Redmi devices that only have band 2 and 4 as well. I also want to note that the Wi-Fi performance also seems spotty. I've been disconnecting from my Wi-Fi a little bit more than I would like it to, especially because I do put it right next to other phones. And for some reason, the Wi-Fi goes in and out on this phone a little bit more often. And it's enough for me to have to make a note of it in these review videos. So my favorite part about this phone is the display. This is an AMOLED screen. It's a 6.39-inch display. It's good for like 86% screen-to-body ratio, which is really good. It's close to 90%. And it's only a 1080p screen, 403 ppi, so not crazy numbers out there. But for a 1080p screen, this is one of the best 1080p screens I've seen in quite a while. The viewing angles and the colors are very, very good. You can tell it's an AMOLED screen. The colors pop, but I'm really impressed with the viewing angles on this phone. Anywhere you look at it, even if you look at it from the side, flat on the table, the colors just pop out at you, and I really enjoy watching content with this phone. I absolutely love this body to screen ratio. And if I remember correctly, Xiaomi was one of the first ones to do it. I actually think they were the first ones to do it with the Mi Mix. And you no longer have to pay thousands of dollars for that experience. You can do this for $290, $300. It is absolutely mind-boggling. It is so nice to not have a notch or a hole punch to kind of get you out of that immersion when you're looking at a beautiful picture or a video of some sort. You feel fully immersed, and that really helps when you use a phone like this, especially for this price point. I keep saying this price point because it is hard to believe that something like this is only $300. The build quality of this phone is very unique as well. It's glass, it has rounded corners, very smooth, very nice. It reminds me a little bit of the Mi Mixes in the front, but in the back, it's a beast of its own. It looks different. It's different gradients of color. I have this blue one here. It's really dark in the center. It looks like a black stripe, and on the sides you have that radiant blue. It reminds me of a marble. If you look at marbles, it looks like a marble with a different gradient in the center. So I really like the look of this and the feel of it. When you hold it in the hand, it does feel a little cheaper than you would have for like any glass flagship phone like a Note 10 or a Samsung phone. But it is a very well-built, solid device. And also for the audio quality is not that great. The speaker is a bottom-firing speaker, which that says a lot. I am not a big fan of bottom-firing speakers, especially nowadays where audio quality has been really good on a lot of phones. But of course, it is this whole, near bezel-less display, so they don't have a lot of space for front-firing speakers. The battery behind this device is a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. And through my everyday use, playing games, getting text messages, emails, social media stuff, I am getting about 6 hours of screen on time, lasting me probably like 14 hours in a day. That is terrific numbers, way above average. Very, very solid battery life here. When you look at the back here too, you see that triple camera setup, and it is a little unique. And once again, for this price point, it is pretty awesome for what they supply. I'm going to use my phone here because there's a lot of numbers to go through. A 48 megapixel f1.8 26 millimeter wide lens, an 8 megapixel f2.4 53 millimeter telephoto lens, a 13 megapixel f2.4 12 millimeter ultra wide lens. So cool stuff, telephoto ultra wide. But the cool thing about this, the really cool thing about this, is the 48 megapixel wide camera that is right here at the top of the phone. And it has its own mode that you access that uses this. I have some photos here that you can check out. But overall, the three cameras combined offer you plenty of variety and versatility depending on what you need it for. In very optimal lighting, the photos turn out pretty well, and it does deliver relatively well for this price point. $300. It will blow away a lot of people's expectations. Now, for low light, this is where this whole superseding what it's worth kind of dies down. You are getting exactly what a $300 phone would give you for low light. It's not a Pixel. Pixel 3a absolutely kills this in terms of the low light performance. It's not even a comparison, guys. The low light is barely usable. I would say it's acceptable because it's a $300 phone. But if this was something in the $400, $500 range, you would kind of be disappointed in it. But overall, the cameras are very solid. And once again, I've been saying this is like the whole theme of Xiaomi reviews now. It really outperforms its price point in the overall scheme of things. The build, the performance, the experience, and just the look of this device. It doesn't feel like a $300 phone. It feels way above that. So once again, my name is Alex of Hypnotech. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you guys think of the Xiaomi Mi 9T. And I will see you guys in the next video.
And that's it. Be sure to subscribe here. Hit the bell button so you don't miss any of our videos. And check out our other videos right here. Until next time,